This is Josh's House, a comprehensive, sustainable suburban housing project about our family home near Fremantle in Western Australia. Our place is designed to look, feel and cost the same as a typical 3x2 home, but it performs in a much better way. This series follows our journey, sharing everything we learn along the way to inspire a new direction for the houses we choose to build and the homes we choose to live in, for our health, happiness, hip pockets and our future. I can't believe it's been a year since my family and I first moved into our new home. Now, there's so much I want to share with you about our journey and what we've learnt today. One thing's for certain, what we're living in can only be described as a high-performance house. Not a term you normally hear to describe a home, is it? Well, let me show you what I mean. For this episode of the Return of the Josh's House series, we're going to look at the core of the project and what has really driven me throughout the whole journey. And that's the data. This house is now a living laboratory and it's totally wired up so I can track how it performs. And the data really is gold because it's proving what I've been banging on about actually works. And today, the family's out, so we've got the place to ourselves to have a close look at the stats and facts. And I've got to say, what we found has been incredibly exciting. Okay, first, we're going to take a look at temperature. We've installed a network of temperature sensors throughout the entire house. Considering the home's solar passive design, good insulation, and high internal thermal mass, we expected that the internal temperatures would range between 18 and 28 degrees, and that for most of the year it should sit comfortably around the low to mid-20s. What this means, and it's something that has surprised a lot of people, is we don't have a heater, and we don't have any air conditioning. Now this is quite unusual for new homes in this climate of hot summers and cool winters. So how did it perform? The average inside temperature in the living room was 24 degrees, and the maximum summer temperature recorded in that room was 28.5 degrees. The hottest area was the master bedroom, reaching 29 degrees on several occasions in the height of summer. It's important to note that these peaks were only for short periods at the end of the day and quickly cooled with nighttime ventilation. In winter, some of the rooms dipped just beneath 18 degrees on a number of occasions, but this was early in the morning when we were all tucked up in bed and the house was quickly warmed once the sun was up. Okay, so we know the home has been thermally comfortable, but how about energy use? Obviously, without things like heaters and air conditioners, we're already making a saving, but there's more to it than just that. Our house is using around 11 units per day of electricity, compared to a local average of 18. So that's a 40% saving based on efficiencies alone. Now, that may not seem a great deal, but keep in mind, we're also running 3 pumps for our various water systems, which most homes don't have. And when you take in consideration that we're generating about 15 units a day from our rooftop solar panels, we're actually producing more energy than we're using. But how about gas? We've got a staggering 90% reduction in gas use compared to the local average, largely thanks to our solar hot water system and good behavioural practices. So all up, this means that our house is greenhouse gas emission positive from an operational perspective. And that means that we're generating enough power to cover our own use, as well as export back to the grid to cover the greenhouse emissions of the gas that's used, and we're well in front. I'm especially proud with what we've done with our water. It's a particular passion of mine, and it's pretty comprehensive, but deliberately so that we can show lots of varied options for better water management around the home and garden. So here's a checklist of what we did. We use rainwater inside the home for around 8 months of the year. Then we have scheme water as a backup during our dry summer. No scheme water is used outside. Instead, we use grey water and bore water for irrigation, and carefully monitor this so we know we're using it sustainably. So what kind of impact have these water initiatives had? Well, to be quite frank, the results are huge. These alternate sources, combined with efficient equipment and behaviour, have resulted in a 90% reduction in scheme water use compared to the Perth average. This data is valuable stuff, and we'll continue to gather it and share it with you. What we can also do is demonstrate how much we're saving on our bills. This home was built for the same price as a typical 3x2 home, and in a similar time frame, just 6 months. So far, we're saving around $2,500 per year on our energy and water bills at today's prices, which are only going to rise. So, we're streaks ahead. It's jaw-dropping stuff, and you can't argue with those savings. But I reckon what's even more valuable is the tangible information that we've gathered through our journey, and so much so that we want to share this information with you. Fact sheets and plans, even data, all open source so everyone can make the most of it. I think we've demonstrated that there is a better way we can be designing and building our homes. In the next episode of Josh's House, we take a look outdoors at our abundant, productive garden, landscaping and nature play areas 1 year on from moving in. Is it all working as we expected? We'll take a closer look. Until then, don't forget the project website, joshshouse.com.au.